Hello and welcome to Good Morning Lancaster. It's Friday of week 11 and we're back with more news and entertainment for the term.
Today we'll be discussing the latest news headlines and what's happening on campus this week.
We will later be joined by Scan news editor Alex Brock to talk about this week's news and in particular Donald Trump's inauguration.
Ooh. And we will also be joined by Rhiannon Jones, Lucy President, to discuss the latest expose of the NUS and how it may affect student unions.
Stay tuned for more Good Morning Lancaster. Welcome back. I am Ben Wallace.
And I'm Patrick Hennessy. Thank you for joining us today.
Crimbo.
Yeah.
It has been a wonderful Christmas. Have you enjoyed your Christmas, Patrick?
It's been good. It's been nice and chilled, really.
Yeah.
How about you, Ben?
Did you get anything, by the way, that you sort of thought that was nice?
Yeah, I got a few nice jumpers,
Did you?
nice festive jumpers.
The thing is, I'm sort of
Yeah,
feeling
what
like we're getting older now, though.
I know.
Because you know what? I got excited. I got socks.
Oh.
I got excited by socks, though. I was happy
I know,
about it.
like, that's the thing when you're young, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
socks.
yeah.
But
Now, because
yeah.
they were like Hugo Boss ones.
Oh,
I thought, whoa,
oh,
Mum, don't need to break out the
God.
big money, but
Wow.
there you go. I got
wow,
socks.
you got some fancy socks.
And then on the 27th, it was my birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I'm 19 now. I'm a big boy.
How do you feel about being 19?
It's scary knowing that the aging process just merely takes its turn on you and slowly watch yourself decay.
Wow.
But yeah, it was good.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's
That's nice to know.
On another note, let's bring you up to date with the latest news and headlines.
As many people will know, today marks the day where the USA inaugurates the 45th President Donald Trump. USA President-elect will be moving into the White House. Trump is a figurehead and along with many of his policies have caused much controversy over the election period, so it's no wonder that people are concerned with the amount of power being handed over to him.
Yeah, and the concern even comes from students at Lancaster University who may be personally affected by his policies. There is a Bridges Not Walls Lancaster banner drop event being held today at 1 p.m. on Millennial Bridge to encourage the message of a peace and just world rid of oppression and hatred.
For those interested in attending the event, further details can be found on Facebook.
In more news about Facebook events, over 500 people have signed up to the Lancaster Student Puppy Petting event on Facebook. The event detailed was that it was a stress relief event for students, and in the description of the event stated, "It's been scientifically proven that even the most brief encounter with these adorable doggies can reduce your stress level. Don't pass up the chance to pet some pups. Head on over and meet your new furry friends on Jan the 20th. But it was fake.
That was good.
I know. The event is scamming students to give out personal information by including a link to a Google form document as part of a registration process. The Google form document requires students to give their name, date of birth, city they live in, which university they're at, and year of study, many other contact details, and their email address.
Gosh, Lancaster is not the first university to be affected by this. It's happened in Swansea, Sheffield and Portsmouth.
Scary, isn't it? Did you have any friends who got caught up in it?
Yeah, I've got a couple of people. I nearly signed up to it.
Same did I, yeah. I mean, no, I didn't. I'm going to pet pups in my free time. In an article on the LUSU website, they've confirmed that the event was in no way associated with the Lancaster University or LUSU, and that they encourage everyone to remain vigilant and question the source and validity of events like these that hint at being linked to the university or union. If in doubt, check the official university or union Facebook pages for confirmed official student events.
Lancaster University recently hosted a Let's Talk About Brexit panel question and answer session. Those on the panel includes Amanda Chetwynd, Amanda, Provost for Student Experience and other university leaders. Dave Whitlock, LUSU VP Welfare and Community, was also on the panel to help tackle any concerns of post-referendum discrimination.
The university is still encouraging its academics to apply for EU funding, and they are currently applying for Erasmus funding for 2017 to 2018 annual term. Amanda Chetwynd states that whatever happens with how Brexit unfolds, Lancaster is a global institution and will always stand up for education and our students and staff wherever they are from. David Whitlock commented on behalf of LUSU, also stating that as a students' union and university, we are against racism and xenophobia in any way that we see it. We are running a campaign called We Are Lancaster, which aims to reassure students post-referendum that Lancaster is a welcoming and inclusive space for all.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's lovely.
And also, in other news, recently an NUS vice president has been exposed to have publicly claimed that Malia Bouattia, the NUS president's criticisms of Israel and anti-Zionism amount to anti-Semitism. The vice president even offered to help the undercover reporters get into contact with the people who are trying to oppose the NUS president as he's helping to organise them.
And this recent expose has caused some tensions in the NUS as for the vice president in question and is being asked to resign, but has insisted that he will not. And because of this, the NUS are delaying communication with Students' Union across the country for other issues such as the NSS boycott.
In a statement by Rachel Hughes, LUSU VP Campaigns and Communications, she says, "We know student voice is strongest when we are united, and we hope that the NUS and its officers will resolve their differences. Although the trial focuses on an important and divisive issue, it's only one of the major challenges facing students at the time, and we would like to see the NUS leadership reunited in order to broaden the scope of its campaigning activity."
We'll be discussing the issue further with Rhiannon Jones, LUSU president, later on in the show.
In more news, Lancaster University has confirmed an increase in tuition fees for new and some ex-student undergraduate students for autumn 2017. In a statement released by LUSU, they have said that they are disappointed with the university's decision.
The statement went on to say the union has a long-standing policy to fight for free education, but our more serious immediate concerns is that this year's increase marks the arrival of annual fee increases, as development we are fundamentally opposed to.
The new higher education bill has made it possible for high-performing universities such as Lancaster to charge more for degrees. LUSU have made it clear that they will continue to lobby the government to abandon this policy. LUSU believe the policy only increases social division by making the best education and therefore the best employment opportunities accessible only to people from higher income households.
If any students who are concerned about the impact of fee increases can contact the advice services by emailing advice@lusu.co.uk. Yesterday there was no fees, no debt demo for Lancaster students against the fee rise in Alexandra Square. We were there to see the event and let's take a look at what happened.
Hi Cameron.
Hi.
So who organised this demo going on?
This was organised by a group of us, some of us who are here in the crowd today, including myself and some people who aren't able to make it. We found out about the rising tuition fees in December from SCAN, but it was this week we found out it would apply to current first years, which made a lot of people very angry. We made a lot of banners and materials this week and decided on the day this week, so it's been very short notice, but it proves how people can organise in crisis, really.
Exactly, so what is the whole cause of this? What are you trying to achieve with this demo?
The university has decided, without consulting any students, to raise undergraduate fees by £250, including first years right here. It's raising international fees by £2,000 and it's raising postgrad fees depending on your course.
The overseas students, they suffer from the so high financial burden. Students, they pay 2,000 and then ours is 10,000. Yeah, really, it's high as high as that.
Yeah, definitely. So would you go out and join them protesting?
A little bit shy.
£250 may not sound like a lot if you're used to 9,000 a year, but with current inflation figures, it's going to be over 10 grand by 2020, and it's not going to stop going up, and it's going to put more and more poor students, working class students, off going to university and off getting a better future. Staff members have had a pay freeze for the last 7 years now. They barely get enough pay rises to cover inflation. They won't be getting enough pay rises to cover inflation after Brexit. It's not enough. The university is not providing students enough support, and we are taking a stand to say that the university has to stop, has to provide more support to students with these funds if it is raising them, and should really consider doing like other universities and saying, no, we will not raise fees.
Are you hopeful that the university will listen to your protest and stop the fee rise?
The more pressure we put on the university, the more emails we send, the more social media posts we make, the more we shout and yell, the more they hear us and the more they are forced to hear us. And over time, if we have enough protests like this, we can make change because it's been done before.
And I think you're doing a really good job. You've had a great turnout today as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we are intending to keep going with this. We will probably be handing out leaflets about tuition fee raises at Refreshers Fair next week, and hopefully there will be a demonstration outside University Court next Saturday, which is the university's symbolic top of the university, where it informs all the lay members of university what is going on in the next year, and where they will probably announce the fee increases to mainly staff members who had no idea.
It's so good that you're taking this step and fighting for the students. Thank you.
Welcome to the studio, Alex. Thanks for being here. Now, of course, we had Donald Trump recently being, of course, president-elect, and the, of course, shocking result of it, and his inauguration. Will you be watching it?
I probably won't be. It's 4 to 5 today, and I think I've got some other plans. I will probably watch it, or at least listen to it, sometime this weekend.
Have you guys seen the acts, by the way, that Donald Trump has got planned?
Which acts is the bigger question.
That's also a bigger question. Yeah, I don't know if people at home know, but his acts aren't necessarily the most well known.
Yeah.
There was what they call 3 Doors Down. You guys might know them.
I've heard of 3 Doors Down, but I don't.
But the
know.
rest, no one knows.
Idea.
No one knows. No one
Yeah.
wanted
No.
necessarily.
Couldn't
agree.
even get a cover band for Bruce Springsteen.
No.
Really?
Yeah, they dropped out.
Even a cover
A
band
cover
for
band.
Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
They could get a cover band for the cover band. Now, as an American international student, how would you say that this issue sort of affects you?
In so many ways, it affects me as an American. It's less because I don't live there anymore, but even being home over the Christmas break, it just, in the same way that Brexit kind of elevated the way that people spoke about race and other issues that kind of led to the vote, that's what Trump's election has done, as it has given people a platform and a voice to say things that they wouldn't have said before. And that has been challenging to hear. It was hard to see. And so I think even when I'm this far away, the reality of a Trump presidency, it just kind of, it's a daily thing of you read the news and he's still president and he's still saying these things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unavoidable, even from 5,000 miles away.
Yeah. So is your response to Trump's policies, would you say positive or negative? So I'm guessing.
Personally negative, yeah. It's not my favorite set of policies. They've been hard to hear.
Yeah. And are you going to go to a millennial bridge to?
Oh, yeah, the Galileo Millennial Bridge.
I might be there today. There is, however, the Women's March tomorrow, and I am planning on being at that. There are over 600 marches across the world right now.
Wow, 600.
So Women's March on Washington is happening on Saturday, the day after the inauguration, and then across the world, other women's groups picked it up. So there is a large Women's March on London that's going on that the Women's Equality Party is organizing, but it's spread. So we're having one here in Lancaster. All the events, all the information's on Facebook.
Right.
But
We'll put a link
it's going
to
to be
it.
really cool. It should be really good. It'll just be, it's not just Women Allowed, but it's kind of this show of support for women's and women movements and all those kinds of things. So that'll be really good.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm wondering as well, do you have any sort of advice for people who might be thinking about, of course, might be a little bit concerned in some ways about Donald Trump's next 4 years as president? Do you have any advice for those sort of students who might be wondering how to sort of necessarily deal with the reality for some students?
Yeah, I would say get involved. So sometimes it feels like all these terrible political things happen, but they happen because people don't vote or don't get out. But when you care, show that you care. So engage with nonprofits, engage with charities, be active. Don't be quiet. So if you have an issue with something, say that you have an issue, whether that's to people around you when someone's making a sexist or racist joke, stand up in that case and then stand up in bigger cases. So get involved in international or national movements. Like don't stay quiet for 4 years.
Yeah.
Like show that you care and show that it matters.
Such events as you mentioned before as
Yes,
well. You can
those
do
are
little
good
things like that.
Yeah.
It's basically do your bit really, isn't it?
Yes.
Sort of do what you can. Yeah. And
good.
one thing which we were wondering as well, have you heard about this putty
Putty.
petting scam? Puppy petting scam.
Yes. Heard about all that, of course, through the Union and Scan.
Yeah.
Basically, I think you guys touched on it earlier, but that Facebook event came online and it spread pretty fast. I mean, I know I would love to pet a really cute puppy. I'm stressed. Puppies are great. But it is, and Lucy put it really well, is if you're not sure, like, know what student union Facebook pages look like. Know how they tag themselves as an organization on there, and then double check with the Lucy website. There's an incredibly big calendar on the Lucy website that you can see every event going on. So be careful. And any form that asks for your personal information you should be skeptical of. Google Forms, the way that Google works is anyone, like that information does not stay secure. So the union uses a really secure system to store student information.
Right.
So if a Google form asks for your information, question it. And that's for everything.
Well, that's good advice, that as well. And you never know where these
Some
sort of papers
cybersecurity
can
for you.
go. So I appreciate that.
Sure thing.
I think everyone else does too. Thanks a lot, Alex.
Thank you, Jesus.
Now let's have a look at some short video on a question on the spine about the recent puppy petting event scam. We got a lot of talk about the puppy petting event. haven't
We all love puppies. It's
All
We
these
worth
just
it.
love puppies. Maybe we should do our own. After the video, we'll be joined later by Lucy President Rhiannon Jones to discuss how unions are coping with the recent NUS expose.
Have you heard of the puppy petting scam that's been happening?
Was it?
Yes.
I have, because I clicked interesting on it.
I saw it on Facebook, and then I saw yesterday that it was like a fake event.
I have heard about the puppy petting scam, yes.
Did you sign up your personal details?
No, I didn't. No, because like I saw it, but I didn't go into it. Do you know what they're doing with the details? Like, that's the scary part. Like, what are they actually doing with them?
Exactly. I mean, most of the personal details are things like emails and contact numbers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is stuff that they could maybe sell on, like selling your data.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And there have been other scams in the past, like the outdoor cinema.
Was that a scam?
Yeah.
That was the one by the Ashton Memorial, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought they were going to set something up, but I wasn't even interested in that one.
Yeah. What do you think about all these scams that are happening?
It's a problem. I don't know how many are happening. You say there's an outdoor cinema. I don't know about that one. Do we know who's doing it?
We don't, and
Okay.
actually because it's through a Google's form document that they're trying to take people's information, it's kind of hard to trace it back to the original person.
I just think students are really easy targets, especially stressed out students. You offer a student a puppy, like they're going to give you an email address to go pet a puppy. So yeah, I just think they're taking advantage of like a large group of people that can like easily be influenced because everybody's on Facebook. Every student checks Facebook every day, so they're just taking advantage of us to sell us details or whatever they want to do.
Exactly, and that, like you said, it's the scary part of not knowing what they're doing with our details. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's a good thing neither of us signed up.
Welcome, Rhiannon. Now, of course, this is all about a recent expose, is it, within the union? Would you mind just talking us through that?
So it was a bit of a problem that's happened within the NUS, where there's been an article about our NUS Vice President Union Development, Richard Brooks, and his involvement within trying to oust the NUS president. But there has been a lot of friction between the NUS officers throughout our time in office, really, since they've been elected, from when there were first accusations of our NUS president, Malia Boyatia, being anti-Semitic, and the Select Affairs Committee coming out with their report on anti-Semitism within the student movement. And now it's moved on to our Vice President Union Development, Richard Brooks, and his involvement within trying to oust the NUS president by being a leader of a faction within the NUS. And factions have actually become quite a big issue within the NUS at the moment, and it's something that obviously as officers we haven't been involved with, because we've been always having the student voice at the forefront of everything we do, and if it doesn't impact on students, then we don't want to have to be a part of it. It's all about the student movement for us, and we always want to put that as the forefront for the choices that we make. So yeah, it's caused a bit of an uproar between it, and it's causing a bit of friction between other officers as well, as in officers from different students' unions. But I think hopefully we can move past this. He's currently, Richard Brooks has put forward himself to be put under investigation by the NUS UK board, so their trustee board, for them to then do a full investigation, see what's actually taken place, and then have democracy take over, really, which he kind of should do if union development is his role.
Yeah,
so democracy is kind
works,
of,
isn't it?
yeah, definitely.
But for those of people who don't actually know, although the NUS is going through this rough patch at the moment, what is sort of the role? What does it sort of bring to students usually?
The NUS?
Yeah.
Well, it ranges from it has a large remit, so it will move from what people tend to recognise it from is the NUS Extra card, where you get all the
Little discounts.
Yeah, discounts
and
and things like that. From as well things like the Higher Education Research Bill, information on that for students' unions, and it's actually the students' union that's a member of the NUS rather than the students itself. So the union, we're a part of it, and they offer us discounts on things so that we, making your drinks and sugar cheaper, basically, and giving us advice, whether it be legal advice as well, where it's been coming handy and be able to get discounts that way, so which has helped with our case with the Sugar House. And they also they're the ones that lead campaigns as well. There was the national demonstration on November 19th. They orchestrated that, and we went down and we had our students attend, and they had thousands of students attend to march around London for free education and no debts, no fees and no cuts. So they have a large remit, but I think the most forefront that students recognises tends to be the discounts, but there's a lot on the background that they do with unions as well. So that's how they've helped us, and they help within the student movement.
Right, I see.
Yeah. And what do you think the NUS can do to help unions whilst they're going through this rough patch?
I think the best thing that they can do is to make sure that they follow and adhere to the democratic processes. If we are all meant to be democratic organisations, and we rely on democracy, so as long as they follow through on the democratic structures and they do the correct procedures, that's the best way that they can move past from this and help us move on from this, as well as answering any questions that either students or actual sabbatical officers have for the NUS. As long as they are being transparent in how they are dealing with this, I think that's the best way to move forward. Thankfully, we were worried that it could impact other areas, but since they've released the NSS risk and equality impact assessment, so we've had that, which is definitely reassuring, and we can see that other areas of the organisation are still moving on, so it hasn't just halted everything that they do. So that's always reassuring for students' unions.
Yeah. And now moving on over to Brexit talks, which I think is everyone's sort of favourite topic in the past few months. If it wasn't Trump, it was going to be this, or puppy petting. What has been sort of the response for students in regards to the university saying about the remaining global and making sure that not to limit themselves because of the Brexit talk?
I think we always have to remember and realise that when the EU referendum came about, and when it was was it the 24th of June when it was actually released?
I think it was the 24th. Yeah.
I think it's 24th. Students, universities, the whole sector was shocked with the outcome. If you look across the whole nation, universities in general were Remain, and they had a heavy involvement within Remain campaigns. There were very few vote leave campaigns on campus, and of those vote leave, majority of them were mostly hard left, wanting for Brexit reasons rather than being xenophobic, racist or anything like that. So I think currently the university and higher education sector find itself in a bizarre position, because we don't truly reflect what the rest of the nation is feeling or expressing. So we are mostly concerned about the research and how that will impact that, and we're worried about what grants are available. But I think the biggest thing that we actually are facing, and the one thing that we really want to tackle and reassure students, is we do not reflect what the rest of the population has done, even though it's a small majority of the population at the same time. We have to keep that in mind. But we always want students to feel welcome regardless of their background, regardless of their nationality, heritage. They are always welcome here. Education is a right, and education is open to all, and we will not discriminate. And the university really wants to push that message, and so does the union. The union have created and are collaborating with the university with the We Are Lancaster campaign. This campaign is to basically allow students to know that we are there for them, where we are open for them to come talk to us if they have any problems, and we will always represent them. Just because of this vote does not mean that their voice and their opinions does not matter. It truly does, and it matters the most at the moment, because we want to ensure that they feel comfortable within a foreign country. We want to make this foreign country their home as much as it is ours, and they are as much a part of the community as any other Lancaster student at the moment. And the same goes to staff members from international backgrounds as well.
So it sounds like that the university really is doing a lot to sort of stop that post-referendum discrimination, right?
Yeah, definitely. It was work, because I came into office end of June, start of July, so I came just as the vote had. And the majority of the topic of conversation was Brexit, and not just the implications of, like the research and things like that, but it was mostly focusing on the detrimental harm it has made to people's confidence in attending university from foreign countries and things. We've had many discussions of how can we try and make them feel comfortable, how can we show them that we truly do support them and we want them here. And it's been a topic of the majority of my meetings since being in office, and I think that shows how seriously the university and union are taking it, as it's in the forefront of our minds in almost every decision that we do make, because we realise how much it has hit home for some people, and how diverse it has been. So,
and although you've done quite a lot of stuff with the We Are Lancaster campaign, do you think there's anything else that can be done with Where's referendum?
I think, you know, there's always more to be done, whether it's knowing what that is, because we still need to hear back from students, from staff who feel isolated. We need to react to whatever they have to put forward. You know, we've changed our democratic system so that it's very much we react to what students want. So if we have students coming to us saying, right, you've done this, but we want this as well to help us feel supported, then that's what we'll do, and it'll go through our democratic systems, and we will implement that change if possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely here, and the message is we are definitely here, and we want to support you, and we want every person to be at university who deserves to be here. You know, we're all human, and we all have the same rights. So let's get on with it, and let's
That's a
be a
lovely
team.
little ending message
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Rhiannon.
It's all right.
How inspiring, huh?
I know, yeah.
Now let's have a look at what's coming up in campus this weekend and in the following week.
Just Play are hosting a session for squash on Friday. On Sunday, they'll be doing a table tennis and swimming. If you're interested in any of those, just have a look at the more details on the LUSU events calendar at lusu.co.uk/events.
There is also the chance to join the hiking club this Sunday in the Lake District. The event starts from 8:45 and will be finishing at 8 p.m. It'll be a long hike, but I'm sure it'll be worth it for the lovely views in the Lake District. Tickets can be booked online if you're interested.
Also, next Thursday is the Refreshers Fair event, a great opportunity to see what the university has to offer with all the different activities, groups, services and departments. It'll be from 2 till 5 in Lancaster, so be sure to head over there next week.
And that's all from us today. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next Friday with more Good Morning Lancaster.
See ya.
See ya.